Okay, y'all, we're glad to be back with you again, but we need you to subscribe.
I know you did not just burp in the
That
mic.
wasn't even hardly a burp, man. It barely even
That
counted.
is so disgusting.
Subscribe right now unless you don't want me to burp again.
Crow.
Welcome to Just John and April, the relationship podcast, your place to level up your intimacy. In today's episode, we need to work on our communication.
Definitely.
And the word of the day.
Yes.
What you mean definitely? That's just the title.
I'm saying we all do. Everybody can work on their communication.
I agree. What's up, babe?
Nothing much.
How you been?
Good. I just want my voice back.
Yeah, it'll come back.
I keep talking about this. I know I keep saying it, but every time I start talking, I'm like, ugh.
Where's my voice?
Yes, I can't be doing podcasts with a voice like this.
The thing is, the only way to stop sounding like that
There I am
is
coughing again. Mm-hmm.
The only way to stop sounding like that, you have to actually stop talking for a long period of time, and you're teaching every day, so there's no way that's going to happen.
I'm talking all day long.
So is this it for the rest of the semester?
This is it.
Wow.
You know it takes me a long time to get my voice back. It does take you a while to get your voice back.
That's true.
Because I keep talking.
Yeah.
I have to have my voice back because I got to be able to sing.
So maybe you should just take off from doing the podcast for a while. It'll be just John.
But
and no one will watch.
But this is the thing. That's funny.
Or listen.
You know that's not true.
It is true.
It isn't. It is not true.
They'll listen for a little while to watch me crash and burn. They'll be like,
please.
How is it with that schmo by himself?
Oh, my goodness. This is the thing, though. If I were to do that, that would only be one day a week and twice a week.
That's true.
Live.
That's true. That wouldn't be enough quiet time to get your voice back.
I need to take off work for a week.
You do. That's the thing. And school just started, so that's not happening.
And I love going to school.
I know you do. And you love your kids. You've been talking about that. You've been very blessed. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
No, I am. I love it. So I don't want to take off. But
I want to say real quick that I am happy that we did this 5-day intimacy challenge this week. And the reason I'm glad about it is for the reason why we've been telling other people that they need to do it. And that is, we don't want our schedules to steal our intimacy. Yeah. And honestly, since we decided to actually do the challenges like we're telling everybody else to do, I have been feeling closer to you this week.
Oh, me too. Now I can hear you real good. I got both ears in.
Oh, now. Brother, you didn't even have both ears in?
I was like, why does he sound so? He doesn't even sound like he's got the mic, using the mic. I'm like, what?
Oh man, it's like your first night you was doing the podcast. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited. This has been great. It's been a great week.
It has, and the thing about it is because this is my second week of school, so it's been very busy. To come home and then have something, or in the morning that we are doing now, the morning time, it makes my day so much better. I actually have had great days, like overall. Even when I come home and I'm tired, I'm excited.
That's how I've been feeling. It's like when I go to work, I'm kind of on a cloud, and it takes me a while to figure out why. And then I realize, oh man, you know what? April and I really had some time together today. Like we exercised this morning.
Yes, I was going to say praying.
Oh yeah.
Exercising.
Yes.
Talking about things that we enjoy and love.
Yes.
That actually really, and then snuggle time tonight.
Which is tonight. Yes. Exactly.
That really is like.
Those are the first 4 days of the challenge, by the way. I am too.
Our snuggle time, I can't wait because I love to snuggle.
Yes.
We ain't snuggling for just no 15 minutes. Now.
I'm saying that's what they have to do. That's the challenge, to snuggle at least for 15 minutes.
But it's not going to be 15 minutes. I'm going to be just snuggling for the rest of the night. So I'm going to snuggle as I'm sleeping. So just be ready.
I'm ready all the time. Anyway. Right. I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
But it's going to be delivered, so it's going to be the extra snuggles.
I can't wait till tomorrow's challenge too. That's going to be a good one.
We haven't revealed that yet.
We haven't revealed
in
the
morning at 7 live on.
Well, by the time you watch this, it will already have happened. You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
This will air at 3:00 on Friday.
We are recording this earlier.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Anyway,
right. Okay.
So I'm also excited though because this 5-day intimacy challenge is leading into our free live event, which is coming up on the 30th. And our free live event is how to fire up your sex life too. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. No, the beat don't come yet. It comes a little later. I should be talking still right now before the beat comes on. Now here it comes. Ready? It's about to drop. And April's about to go crazy. I'm glad I don't have the big screen on.
Hey.
Anyway, you can sign up right now. sexlife.justjohnandapril.com. We're actually going to be talking about the 3 intimacy killers and how you can overcome those. And we're hoping that you'll join us. It's going to be great. When you get in that, when you sign up for it, you'll actually get access to our free and private Facebook group, which is where this is going to air. So make sure you do that today. sexlife.justjohnandapril.com.
I do the same move. Me and my sister, we both do this all the time.
Oh, that chair dancing.
That's all we do.
That's not all you do, but for the show, that's all you've been doing.
You know, when a beat drops and you just start moving.
Yes, that's the one you always do.
That's the one I always do.
Okay, so we got our subject for tonight, today, whatever. What is it?
I didn't hear anything you said when you were talking about the.
I know. I was just talking about.
Did you do what you're supposed to do? Did you say the right date?
I said the right date.
Okay.
It's on the screen and everything. August 30th, 8 p.m.
I just really.
All that, sexlife.justjohnandapril.com,
okay.
all that was there.
Okay, good.
You're just ignoring me.
Okay.
Our subject.
So, we are talking about communication.
Yes.
Right? And communication that actually is effective.
Yes, but specific in a specific way. So remember, this is part 2 of our 4-part series.
Right.
We're doing a 4-part series on the 4 pillars of total intimacy. Our theory is that intimacy begins way before the bedroom. What comes in your mind when you think intimacy is physical intimacy in the bedroom, and that is part of it. But there's a lot of stuff that goes into it before then. And we say the thing that makes that the best and most enjoyable are the things that have nothing to do with that lead up to it. So there's 4 things.
To do with that.
Correct. We assume we're not. We assume it's not
to
connected, but they're super connected.
So the first one, and we talked about this last week. If you didn't watch, you can go back and watch it. But acceptance.
Yes.
Okay. Radical acceptance.
Radical acceptance is the number 1.
Radical acceptance number 1.
And this one we're going to talk about communications, our second one. And our word of the day adds a little something to it, just like we did last week. We started off just talking about acceptance, then we added radical acceptance and talked about what that was. So this week is going to be similar. We're going to be talking about communication as the second of the 4 pillars of total intimacy. So here's the question that I have for you. Communication, they say, is mostly nonverbal. And so I think that means that we are communicating more often than we think we are. A lot of people say, I'm a communicator. And what they mean is I like to talk.
Yes.
But the reality is that communication is really the exchange of ideas or sharing something with somebody else that might not actually be verbal. I can share a lot with you with my facial expression, with my tone.
I feel like it's more nonverbal.
Yes.
It's so funny
because... Well, that's what they say. Anyway, it's definitely more nonverbal.
Right. It was so funny because something happened in class. And I said to the kids, I'm so glad I'm wearing a mask.
Why? Because whatever your face looked like would have been like...
they would have known, what
you were thinking.
Right. And they laughed at that. But the whole point is, it was like a joke or whatever. But the point is, it's true. If I had my mask off, you would really be able to see what I'm trying to communicate.
Right. Which is hilarious.
That's so funny. So we're actually losing communication with masks on.
You're right.
No, I'm not even joking about that.
You're correct about that. Now, there are some things we can still pick up. I can still pick up body language with your mask on, but your facial expression, if I can't see your mouth and nose and stuff,
let me
like if your nose is flaring, I know what that means.
I am looking at some of these kids' eyes, and it look like they're looking at me like this. But they're not.
But they're not.
Because then they respond with their words and their voice
tone.
You're
like, oh, okay.
I'm like, okay, but you see, I'm listening to the tone too.
Yes.
So
which is also a part of communication.
Also part of communication.
Yes.
But it's so funny because the words really can totally change if the tone is different.
I agree.
So that means that tone, gestures, and all that really play way more of a role than even the words that are coming out of your mouth.
You're right about that. Okay, now I want to ask you a question about our relationship early on, because we've had an evolution over 20 years of us becoming better at communicating. And we're going to talk later on about a specific kind of communication that we think is actually one of the pillars. Because it's not just communication that's one of the pillars of total intimacy. There's a specific kind.
Specific type
we'll talk about
of
that
communication.
in a second.
Right.
But what I want to know is from you, remember early on when we were married and we would argue about stuff that, probably wasn't that deep, not even that big of a deal. I
don't even remember.
You don't. That's
what
good.
We argued about.
I don't either. I remember the things.
I remember
them a lot of times
argument. I remember our yearly one.
I remember a lot of times they were trivial.
Things I really don't remember.
Yes, I really don't either. You're right. The yearly argument that had to do with acts of service
Right.
and words of affirmation. That's the
Okay,
argument.
we know
I remember that one.
Right.
Yes, but other stuff I couldn't remember.
I really can't. I have to really think hard to remember what.
But let me ask you something, because there was a period of time where I really struggled with understanding what you were trying to say to me when you felt like you were speaking very plainly.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I just don't get it. I don't understand what's happening right now. And I think it's because there's a different way that you communicate when we are in a disagreement. It's like the way you
True.
communicate when we're just regular is one way.
Right.
When we're in a disagreement, you communicate in a different way. And I actually do too. What I tend to do, and I'm going to ask you in a second, do you know what it is that you do and why there was a problem?
Do you know what I do?
I don't. I know what I do.
I thought you were
though.
going to tell me what I do
know.
so I can
No,
know.
I know what I do.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
I know what I do.
What do you do?
Wait, what do you do?
I'll tell you what I do.
Because then it'll let me know if I'm really thinking
Okay.
straight.
What I do in those situations is I overanalyze your words.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I basically, if we're having an argument,
definitely
I
you
will
do.
say exactly what it is that you
Yeah.
just said to me, and I'll act like I'm not even listening to the way you're saying it or anything. And I'll say,
Exactly.
"This is what you just said," and you'll be like, "Yeah, but that's not what I meant." And I'll say, "Well, you should have said what you meant."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Which is so annoying. Like,
I'm sure.
you know.
What do you do?
Now,
This is what I think
I'm
you
not
do.
Sure.
This,
now
this is
I'm not sure what I do.
What I think you do is the opposite of that. This is my impression.
Oh, I overanalyze.
No,
you
I
say you
overanalyze.
I
You
underanalyze.
It's not even underanalyzing. It's different. I don't know how to describe
No,
it.
I know what I do.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
take everything, I guess, to heart in an emotional way.
I would
Like
say
I take it more.
I would say you over emote.
Okay,
Is
that's
what
it.
that's how I would
Yeah. Okay, just
describe
like
it.
I mean, yeah.
Here, and I mean it this way though, so that you're you have a very high EQ. I've always told you that. I think
Sometimes it's like superhero EQ
yes,
to the point where I'm
that's
like,
exactly what you
I
literally
can't control- I
have a
need to-
superpower.
I need to go through the training that all the superheroes go through. That
To try to suppress that stuff.
to learn how to
yeah.
to
It's like your
control
laser
it.
vision is going and like
Right.
blowing stuff up.
And it's like you're hearing all the voices of everyone talking.
Yes,
Like,
that's exactly what it's like.
it is.
So I feel like what happens is you end up talking to me as if I have the same level EQ you have. It's like the words you're saying don't really
Wow,
matter.
wow.
I'm supposed to understand what you're saying, but because of the way you're saying it. I'm like, dude,
Yes, John.
you need to
Oh,
say
my
it
goodness.
what you want to say so that I can get it, because I just don't. You know what I'm
I've
saying?
never heard you say that.
Yeah,
that
that's
is
what-
exactly.
I think
what
it's my first time really thinking it
babe,
through.
That's exactly true.
I actually love this show for that reason. By
I
the way,
know. It's like, oh my goodness, we come
It's
to
helped us
so
so
many
many times.
revelations.
Revelations. Exactly
Yeah, we
right.
come so many revelations.
So I always felt like it was like this is what it felt like back then. It was like the rules changed. Okay, this is how we talk to each other. Now all of a sudden, without any warning, the rules are changed,
Yeah.
and you want to talk to me in a totally different way. I'm like, I don't even get it. Now we don't say what we mean at all. We
Right.
just start talking and saying stuff, and I'm supposed to just
I
get it.
definitely spoke in a more where it was like emotional talk, or where you needed to, like you said, have this high EQ to be able to interpret all the things that I was actually saying
You
without
wanted
really
me to.
saying
You
it. I
wanted me
wanted
to
you
feel you.
right.
You wanted to not have to say it. You wanted me to
Exactly.
feel it, and you were
Because-
trying to deliver it in a way that I could
Exactly.
just feel it.
Because I didn't
and
want
I
to
wasn't
say
getting it.
I was not at the point where I could even say it.
Correct.
The words could not even come out of
Correct.
my mouth.
And I would, and the way what happens to me automatically is I overanalyze. So now I'm analyzing every word that you're saying because I'm trying to really derive meaning so that we can
Right.
get some kind of resolution.
Yeah.
But you're speaking in a way that ignores the specifics of what's being said,
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking only at how you're saying it. So now I'm paying attention to the words I'm saying technically. You're paying attention to how I'm saying it, and you're getting a totally different thing than I'm meaning to communicate.
Yeah.
And the same thing's happening on my side. And it was like we could not get anywhere.
Babe.
And I don't know if anybody else has this situation. I have no idea if anybody else has this
Yeah, and I
testimony.
don't even know how we solved
Put it in the
those
comments if you did.
problems. I don't even know how we solved them.
I don't either.
I really
but
don't.
let me tell you how we solved them. Most of the time, I felt like when this was happening, it was about something trivial, so it really didn't matter.
Right,
And I
that's
think at
true.
some point we're just like, who cares?
Well,
Why are we
actually,
arguing? Let's just move on.
Actually, I was reading something and it was talking about how like 4 or 5 positive, happy experiences will kind of exit out the one bad experience that you're having.
Were they trying to say that it takes 4 or 5 good experiences to wipe out a bad experience? Or were they trying to say, if you have mostly good experiences, that one is not going to mess it up?
Exactly.
That's kind of what they,
That's kind of what they're saying.
All right.
And so I
think that's what at that time we didn't have no kids. We were playing video games.
That's what I'm
we
saying.
were hanging out together.
For dinner.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
you know,
we had 5 years together
before,
as a married couple, before any kids came.
We had a lot of that.
So that was great. And we were just kids and having fun.
You could just make a joke and the argument was over.
True. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? That it ain't like that no more.
I actually felt you're right.
You actually have to resolve it.
Well, I felt like it was when we had children that this started to change. I felt like we had the ability to like backdoor out of any argument, and then all of a sudden we couldn't do it anymore once we had kids.
You know what that is, right?
I think it was sleep deprivation.
That is
what I think it was.
No, you're right. That's it.
What were you going to say it was,
I was
though?
going to say stress. Because
yes.
It gives you, and sleep
the stress of being a parent now.
The stress of
the
having
fact that we weren't getting no sleep. Get them in the middle of the night.
Oh, my
all
goodness.
that.
Okay.
You're right, babe. You are so right. Man, you sleepy, girl. Look at you. Yawning in the middle of a show.
Oh, my goodness.
Lord
You're
have
not
mercy.
boring, babe. You're not
I
boring.
am boring. That's exactly what you're saying.
Usually when I think about trees, I don't yawn. I'm thinking about trees and I can't even stop yawning. So that shows I'm really tired.
You're hilarious, babe. Anyway,
if you think about trees, you will not yawn.
I've never tried that before.
Yeah. So I need to really think about trees.
Anyway, bottom line is this. Communication is a real issue. People have that problem in their relationship. And before we go to this next segment, I think we should talk about this thing that we have to offer people. It is our free intimacy assessment. So we can actually help you to determine whether or not your intimacy is where it needs to be or if it's kind of low. You may already have an idea about that. But if you don't know, we have a free intimacy assessment that you can take at yourtotalintimacy.com.
Yes. And what this will do is it will determine your intimacy level and your spouse's separately.
If they take it too.
If you both take it, which I think you should, because you should be able to compare those numbers and say, whoa, why is mine higher? Why is yours lower? Whatever the case is. And then figure out how you can deal with that.
Yes.
So that you can have that total intimacy.
The good thing about our intimacy assessment is that at the end of it, there's a little video with me and April on there, and we actually explain to you what it is that you dealt with. And we even have some resources that we offer to you at the end in case you want to go a little bit deeper in trying to resolve that thing.
So we can help you actually after you take this
to
figure out where the problems are that are causing your intimacy to be low.
Yes, your
or
total
not at the level that you want it to be.
That's true, because it might not be low,
but it may be
lower
where
than you want.
You really want it to be at the top.
Yes, exactly.
You want total intimacy.
Yes, so take that, yourtotalintimacy.com, and you can find out today exactly what's going on with your intimacy. Okay, so babe, I want to pose a different question now. Really, it's not a different question. I would say at this point, we should probably tell people what we think this other pillar is. If it's not just regular intimacy, right, then what is it? Excuse me, not regular intimacy, regular communication. Then what is it? Because communication is a thing that we do all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Communication by itself, we don't believe, is one of the pillars of total intimacy.
But I'm just going to pause you right there because we talked to you guys about how our communication has changed over the pandemic.
Yes, that's definitely true.
And because of the pandemic...
Lord have mercy.
My goodness, the pandemic brought something else out that let us know, because y'all together all the time, you really have to share and try to be honest and totally upfront about your feelings.
Yes.
And so we decided, we heard some things from, anyway, it's now we're vulnerable.
Are you talking about Miss Kev on stage?
Yes, I couldn't remember.
Yes,
Miss
Kev on stage
talked about vulnerability.
Revealed some stuff. We talked about another episode. Honesty,
we talked about
vulnerability, transparency. We have a commitment to this now when we communicate to each other, because it's been 20 years of not always being honest, vulnerable, and transparent.
Listen, I can honestly say that I have not been honest.
Right. And not that you were trying to be deliberately dishonest, though.
I didn't even know that I was doing that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now that we have put this in place, I can't even tell you how much better it has been for us, because we both know that now we are being honest, and that is a vulnerable position to be in.
Right.
And so when we express now, we know, okay, they about to tell me how they really feel.
Yes.
And they're being vulnerable, so I need to respond properly so that we can continue this thing. So communication is also about how you respond.
True.
Because if you respond negatively, I'm not going to want to tell you anything. I'm not going to want to share my feelings. I'm not going to want to tell you when you did something wrong. If every time I do that, it becomes a yelling match.
Correct. We don't really want that.
No.
Okay, so then what is so this other pillar that we're talking about today is actually our word of the day.
Yes.
So I want to share that with you right now.
And I'm really excited about it.
I am too. It's a very good
yes, because this word, I came up with this word.
Yes.
Are you okay with me saying that?
I am. Well, April made it up basically, and then we looked it up and found out it was an actual word.
I thought it wasn't a real word, but it was actually in the dictionary.
Yeah, this is a certain kind of communication that you need.
But what I think this is a word that people said so much that the dictionary had to pick it up.
Maybe. Who cares? It's a word, and it says what we're trying to make it say.
It's a word today, and the word of the day is revolutionary. No. I'm sorry, revolutionary. Resolutionary.
There you go. By the way, it autocorrects to that. It autocorrects to revolutionary. So that's okay. But it's resolutionary. Resolutionary communication.
This shows the yawning that I've been doing?
Yeah. You're very tired.
Forgive me.
Resolutionary communication.
I'm like, I came up with this word, revolutionary. I came up with revolutionary. Resolutionary communication.
What is it?
Okay, it's a technique for expressing ideas effectively for the purpose of resolving conflict.
Okay, so what we're talking about here is...
we're not just talking about regular communication.
Not regular communication.
No,
specifically the kind that intends to resolve conflict.
Exactly.
Okay? A technique expressing ideas effectively for the purpose of resolving conflict. This is important for us to understand because what we're saying is one of the building blocks we talked about last week of total intimacy is...
acceptance.
What kind of acceptance? You're really sleepy, man.
I'm sorry.
Radical acceptance. Radical acceptance. And then today, we're saying to you that it's not just communication, but it's resolutionary communication. The kind of communication that knows how to resolve conflict, that's the type that's going to help to build your intimacy beyond belief.
Yes.
Very important to learn. And I think you can learn it and you can use it, and it can be something that makes your intimacy go to the next level. But
yeah. And let me just say this. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you.
Go ahead, baby.
But, man, my brain is literally like mush.
You're like losing thought as you're talking.
As I'm talking. No, I was going to say that when you are not able to resolve conflict, okay, I'm getting really focused now so I can remember what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It causes you to not even want to be intimate.
No question.
Okay?
No question.
And I'm talking about in the bedroom.
Yes.
Okay.
That kind of intimacy.
It actually causes you, if I have issues
yes.
that we have not dealt with,
yes.
and I'm upset,
yes.
I am not going to want you to touch me.
That is true.
I mean, that's just what, and I think that's everybody.
I just moved my arm, just in case.
You can bring it back, babe. We good. No, but seriously, I think that's everybody.
I agree.
I don't think anybody really wants somebody even in their space that they are really upset with.
Yes.
Or that somebody they feel like is not even listening to them.
Right.
It actually makes them retreat.
Yes. I agree with that.
So if we're not communicating in a resolutionary way, it's going to affect our intimate times together.
Correct. But that effect is only a symptom. We don't realize it's actually eroding our spiritual and emotional intimacy.
The whole thing.
The total
intimacy.
The total intimacy.
Yeah. So it's not just that,
it's
but
not
you're
just
right.
that. So bottom line is, guys, you got to get to the point where you can actually resolve conflict. So you're talking about resolutionary communication, a specific kind. And which, by the way, April and I have a bunch of stuff that we've done on this. We have several videos where we talk about different things, but we also have courses that we teach and things like that that help you with techniques on how to do better with your communication. We have two actual things, one on active listening, another one on supportive listening, which are two different things, by the way.
Yes, they are two different things.
So anyway, you can go to our website to look up some of this stuff.
Yeah.
JustJohnandApril.com, and you can see a bunch of stuff there that we have to offer if you would like to go further or deeper in any of this stuff.
Yeah, I really believe that when we're talking about communication, I'm going to go back to resolutionary communication. It goes back to what we said earlier. If you're not willing to be honest and vulnerable, it's going to be very difficult for you, and transparent. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very difficult for you to have that resolutionary communication consistently.
That's true. And you need that. You need that as a pillar.
Because for the first time in our marriage, I feel like we're actually having resolutionary communication consistently.
I agree with you.
Because we've implemented
and it only took us 20 years to get there.
But see, the thing about it is, babe, 5-10 years ago, they ain't nobody say that.
It's true.
We ain't hear nobody say nothing about
no. Talk about that.
You know, right. when I heard,
you just made up the word today.
No, I'm saying when I heard being vulnerable.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yes, you're right. When nobody talking about that, that's true. You heard that, but it wasn't that three together like that.
When I think of being vulnerable, I think of it in a different. I thought of it in a different way.
Right.
I didn't.
You finally
think of it,
got it for the first time.
Yes, to be vulnerable with my words.
Yes.
I did not think about that.
Feelings. Yes.
I didn't think about that.
Right.
Vulnerable with my feelings. I wasn't thinking about that kind of thing. Vulnerability for me was like getting up front and
risking being embarrassed or something like that. Yes.
Right. That's what I always thought about when I heard that word.
Right.
But to hear it in a way, in a relationship and communication and all of that stuff.
Right.
Man, that took it to another level.
Yeah, it did. And that helped us. That helped us get a breakthrough.
We just didn't have it.
You're right.
So what I'm saying is we're now telling you guys who may be at 10 years or 5 or 1.
You're getting it way earlier.
Man,
this is so much better. It's going to be an advantage for you.
Y'all really got a head start. A head start.
That's
Seriously.
true.
See, I couldn't even say a head start.
You're going to say heads up?
I was going to say heads up.
Lord have mercy.
Man, I need to go to bed.
Time for bed, baby.
It's time for bed.
Hey, y'all, we got to go snuggle. We got to do our snuggle challenge. So we'll check y'all.
Yes, I'm about to get me a good old sleep, honey. Yes.
Okay, guys. We'll see y'all later.
Hey.
Thank you for tuning in. And see you next time.
Bye, y'all.